Hello, everyone. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel and the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel as well. Pro Wrestling Logic is where you are now, and this is the Impact Report for um, the 5th of August 2021. Not exactly a super huge deal here. And honestly, Impact is still lagging behind. I know a lot of people like when Kenny Omega is part of the show. I personally don't, in the sense of I think it takes away from their homegrown talent. But anyway, in the BTI pre show match, Falaba defeating Crazy Steve of Decay, and then or I'm sorry, Crazy Steve defeating Falaba of Decay on the VTI with No Way. No Way, of course, the former No Way Jose. Chris Bay with Jay White defeating Juice Robinson with David Finlay. Uh, Bay joined White within the last couple of weeks, and he wants to be accepted into the Bullet Club after helping him attack Robinson and Finlay last week. Finlay and White will be wrestling at the New Japan Resurgence upcoming show that's there. Match sees Bay getting the better of Robinson in the beginning. He gets cocky and gets the fans behind him a little bit. Robinson cannonball attempt sends him into a crash and burn situation. Juice does make a comeback eventually. Jay White and Finlay brawling on the outside. White tries to distract Robinson, but the distraction allows Bay to hit the art of finesse on Robinson and get the win. Post match, White officially gives Bullet Club T to Bay, accepting him into the stable. GM Miller interviews the Elite, and uh, Don Callis said that this is a trio of top wrestlers in the world, and there is no competition in the world that could contend with Omega and the Good Brothers together. Eh, I'm so over Omega in every way. Um, Violent by Design confronted them and told them, Good Brothers, that at Emergence they'd be calling for the tag title rematch. Miller interviews Fire and Flavor about their match tonight, and they've had a rough couple of days. Hogan said that they were ready to get the win tonight. Hogan has a bit of a backhanded comments about Steele's performance at Homecoming tournament, and the dissension between them continues. Odd that they're still running this when she's already left the company and announced it on social media, but maybe she wasn't supposed to do that. D'Lo Brown and Matt Striker run down tonight's card and shows a recap of the Homecoming King Queen tournament and the debuting Matthew Reinwald and Deanna Perrazzo. They recap Josh Alexander defeating Black Taurus and Eddie Edwards defeating W. Morrissey. Drama King Matthew Reinwald comes out to the ring, cuts a promo. Um, he finally gets a chance after the crowd stops reacting to introduce Deanna Perrazzo. Perrazzo said that she's been collecting accolades since debuting in Impact Wrestling and run down her achievements. And Mickie James interrupts. This is not bad. Perrazzo once again berates James for interrupting her during the ceremonies. James tells her that she knew uh, what she was doing and that she was there for business and wanted to seal a contract that would book Perrazzo for the NWA Empower title match. Perrazzo said she needed to know who her opponent was before signing, and out came Marina Perez. Perrazzo and Melina exchanged some words with the usual threats of beating each other up and sign the contract, and off we go. I don't know that Melina Perez and Deanna Perrazzo are going to have a great match. I'm glad that Perrazzo is getting more work and notoriety. Not so glad that it's with Melina. Miller interviews Taylor Wilde about being gone for some time and coming back. Wilde said that she has reported on the Canadian border and wasn't allowed to come back to the U.S. until they cleared out. She suspected Dashwood because the person called was Kelvin with a K. She challenged Dashwood to a match next week. Yeah, this is flat. Somewhere in the Undead Realm, United or Undead Kimberly asked about Mother and Su Yung, and offers to collect souls for her. Anyway, Jake Something defeats Trey Miguel, Daivari, and Rohit Raju with Sheeran, a number one contenders match for the X Division title. Match starts and they go to dives. Something takes out Daivari and takes him out to the floor. Rohit Raju follows, and later Miguel. They did a couple more of outside the ring spots because we all need to do spots for the sake of spots. Something hits a crossbody over the other two, and then back in the ring, Something dominates in the ring a couple of minutes before the numbers become too much and cut off by Daivari and Raju. Something manages to make a comeback on them, only for Miguel to come back in action and take them all down. Miguel then comes close to getting the win with the last chancery on Raju, but Something breaks it up and hits the biggest powerbomb, probably just an amazing powerbomb. Anyway, Something gets rid of Raju and hits a black hole slam on Daivari for the win. Something is, I guess, seen as more of a monster because the other talent, super small backstage. Raju throws a fit, saying he should be the number one challenger for the title. Matt Cardona confronts him because he was tossed. He tossed his bag and almost hit Chelsea Green. Raju walks away. Wow, what a backward step for Cardona in this feud. Anyway, G. Miller interviews Josh Anderson about Jake Something earning a title shot. Alexander's happy about it. Daivari confronts him about not getting a shot himself. Alexander told him that he can wrestle next week. If Daivari wins, he'll happily defend against him too. So basically, didn't that just make that particular match stipulation irrelevant? Jordana Grace and Rachel Ellering defeat Fire and Flame, Kiera Hogan, Tasha Steelz. These teams have a long feud finally coming to a close. They start exchanging strikes before the bell. Referee gets things under control pretty quickly. Both teams are in their corners. Ellering and Grace dominate the match over Steelz until there's an escape of a muscle buster attempt from Grace and cuts her off. Steelz and Hogan do a good job of keeping Grace away from her corner, but eventually Ellering gets a hot tag and then comes down on her with the latter taking the loss from the assisted slam after Steelz wasn't able to recover quick enough to help her. And after the match, Steelz looks frustrated at Hogan. Suddenly, Savannah Evans comes out and takes out Hogan, and Steelz watched. Miller interviews Kazarian about coming back to Impact. He said he's there because he had promised to chase the Elite wherever they went. It happened to end up being Impact. He talked about all the men that built Impact, and yesterday was gone, and he was here for today. Miller asked if he's okay teaming with two men that have a lot of issues between them. Kazarian told her that he trusted Dreamer's decision to recruit them. This is just goofy. Anyway, then we see Violent by Design with Scott D'Amore trying to confirm their rematch close for Emergence. D'Amore said Swan and Mac beat them, and they also deserve a shot at the titles, so it'll be a three-way dance for the titles instead. Three-way just to get everyone on the show. How inventive. Steve McLean defeating frontman Jasi. McLean squash and had to meet with a spear. And then there's the Tree of Woe, but he releases the pin in order to further injure his man. He does several hits of Mayhem for All. And after the match, McLean stops stomping until Petey Williams comes out to save. With new installment of All About Me with Tennille Dashwood. She explains that Taylor Wilde has been running wild, attacking people. So today's special interview was Impact Doctors Ross Foreman. There's a name from the past, been around since WCW days. Anyway, Scott D'Amore interrupts the show and addressed Dashwood. She hopes that Wilde has been fired, but instead D'Amore tells her that Wilde has requested a match against Dashwood, and he's granted her the match. Recap of last week's Moose and Chris Sabin match. Afterwards, Miller interviews Sabin whether they'd settled things. Sabin said that they were not done, and Sabin will win the number one contenders battle royal, defeating Omega, and he'll never let Moose be a champion. Brown and Stryker run down next week's card, including Battle Royal to Neil Dashwood and Taylor Wilde, Daivari versus Alexander, and Finn Juice versus Chris Bay and Jay White. Then we move to the main event: Eddie Edwards, Sami Callihan, Frankie Kazarian defeating Impact World Champion Omega and Tag Team Champions Good Brothers, Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson. Match came about when Frankie Kazarian chased everyone down and chased them to Impact Wrestling. Tommy Dreamer gave them the match against Omega and the Good Brothers. Dreamer recruited Callihan and Edwards to team with Kazarian, but issues between Callihan and Edwards go back for several years. Match starts with a brawl both inside and outside the ring. Callihan's already going for a cactus special on Omega when the bell actually rings. He doesn't land it, but the babyface team has a good advantage. They run wild on Omega, and Kazarian gets a good amount of offense until Gallows attacks him from behind, allowing Omega to cut him off. Elite take a bunch of time to work over Edwards with more tags, triple team moves, and they make sure both Kazarian and Callihan are not available to make tags. Edward makes a comeback against Gallows and gets a tag to Callihan respectively. And then Callihan goes against Omega, but the match breaks down into a tornado tag with everybody hits signature moves with very little psychology. The Elite triple teaming Callihan with double neckbreakers, suplexes, and near falls. Edwards and Anderson tag in, and the later hits a spinebuster when Kazarian was talking to Gallows and tackles him with a clothesline to the floor. Edwards hits a Blue Thunder Bomb, sets up the Boston Knee Party. Callihan takes out Omega with a piledriver on the apron right before Edwards hits the Boston Knee Party to get the win. Post-match, Callihan checked on Omega, who is selling his neck after the piledriver. Edwards is hyping up the crowd with Morrissey jumping him from behind and hits a powerbomb, posed over the falling body, and no one helps Edwards. Really a flat show. Next week's show looks to be a little bit better, but wow. Impact's really fallen quite a bit. Anyway, until next time, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.